Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Radical Geek Sunday night live stream coffee talk, where tonight we're actually going to be having tea. So let's see. I see Sharon is here. The Warden and Hungry Heath are back from vacation, but they are viewing only since they went out to fancy dinner to end up their vacation. I see OP has joined us. Let's see. Ryquin's here. Hey, Ryquin. And Jen is here. So, and Lisa's here making a cup of coffee for Coffee Talk. Very a pro. And Mayfield Ranch. Hey, Mayfield. Nice to see you again. So, I'm going to go ahead and just get things rolling a little bit. I was very cheaty tonight because I had a little bit of a fall, and somehow while I fell, not only did I bruise my arm and my knee, which would have been normal, but somehow I managed to bruise my sternum. And so I am just very tender today. And as a result, I also need to take some sort of pain relief and get some rest soon. But I'm otherwise fine, just tender, and it's okay. But obviously, I'm slower and not as focused. So I kind of cheated and got a lot of things done ahead of time, and we'll just talk through it, and I can always go through anything you guys need more info about again later. But tonight, we're going to do a fun beverage called the Dirty Matcha. So what a Dirty Matcha is it is a matcha latte with a shot of espresso. So you're taking a caffeinated beverage and then amping it up with the espresso. Oh, thanks, Mayfield Ranch. Mayfield Ranch says they hope I feel better. Yeah, it's just a little bit of bruising. It'll be fine. I'm not seriously injured. And it did hurt enough this morning that I called the doctor, and the nurse called me back and said, smooth move, basically, and told me since I bruised right in this area, if I have sharp pains, then go to, an urgent care or something. But otherwise, sternum injuries are actually just very painful, but not really anything that's dangerous. They're just take it easy sort of things, which thanks a lot. Hey, cool kid. Thanks for joining us tonight. Oh, you 2 minutes is not late. That is well within the, standards of not being late at all. That's perfectly on time. But wow, having a brisket, bacon, egg wraps, that sounds delicious. So that's the Dirty Matcha, and I'm going to tell you all the things that we have to go with that. First, I actually just made my espresso. It's just a standard espresso. We've made them like 6 times now. We got that down. I have 1 cup of almond milk, unsweetened. And I have here a little container of bamboo tools because that's what matcha is. Someday I should take them out of the little cardboard, but for some reason I always wash them and put them, after they dry, put them back in the original container. I don't know why. But, so it has like this little scooper thing to get your matcha out of the container. It has a little bamboo spoon and little tweezers, which I don't really know what they're for, but they are nice little tweezers. And then a little whisk. A lot of matcha kits will come with a whisk that comes out wider and has lots of little, lots more tines. And that does help, actually. I think it's probably better, but usually this is because it's for making individual cups instead of in the little bowls that would then be shared amongst people. In the bowls, you have more room for the whisking, and in this case, we're only doing a singular serving glass. By the way, and matcha is a green tea, but it has been roasted and powdered, or at least dried and powdered. One of the two things. And you can buy them. It usually comes in a tin, sometimes a jar. And this is actually just plain old matcha. So I'll use this fancy spoon so you can see it. It's a little bit, it's green. Now, I will tell you, it is more of an olive green, not that bright green powder that you see in a lot of popular shops. The reason that is because the matcha, you know, all of the buzzwords, natural, organic, sustainable, but it doesn't have any fillers or coloring to it. It's just the natural leaf that's been dried and powdered. So, and I have a little, I'll give you more information about that and why some matchas have that. But when you get like that bright green matcha, you know that they have added artificial coloring. And honestly, I'm not like really against artificial coloring, so I don't have a huge problem with it. But if I don't have to have it and I get a better product without it, I'm going for the better product. Now, I'm going to tell you some things that make a matcha a little bit easier. And I see that Jen has said that they haven't really had a good matcha. And the reason is because matcha doesn't taste great just on its own. It's got that very grassy, earthy flavor to it. And so if you're not used to it or you don't like it, it can be it's not as bad as wheatgrass. Wheatgrass is nasty. But it does have that very earthy sort of taste to it. And so that's why a lot of these drinks are what you do with matcha, because just the plain old matcha by itself is very dirt forward, for lack of better words. Oh, Hungry Heath says they just ordered a 12-ounce ribeye. That sounds fantastic. And I want to make my food here in just a second because I don't want my tuna getting warm. But we'll talk about that in a second as well. I'm going to tell you with the matcha, go ahead and give yourself a hearty scoop. Matcha, you do kind of to taste. I'm going to have mine a little bit stronger. So I used about a teaspoon. And I will also tell you that a better thing to do is to make a little bit of a slurry with it first, as opposed to adding all of the fluids all at once. It helps get like a little bit of paste and helps you break up the powder, because it will have a lot of little matcha balls. And that is why a lot of places blend it and things like that as well. The other thing I'm going to do is start this, my frother. I just have my Nespresso aeration frother, and this is the one. It has all the settings. It can do heat, it can do it can do cold, all those things. And I'm just going to pour my almond milk right in there. And get it heating up so that I can make my latte. Maybe. There we go. So, and it's got the red button. It'll let us know when it's done frothing. Oh, you can't actually see it. There we go. Sort of. Now it's hiding behind the vanilla. All right. So anyways, I make a little slurry first. And I see, OP says matcha gives them the jitters. It is a highly caffeinated beverage, so for some people that does happen. Hey, and Gigi's here. Nice to see you again. You do have to give it a hearty whisking too, which is another reason the whisk with all the times does a better job. Man, all I can think about right now is ribeye. Thanks a lot, Hungry Heat. So, it is, actually matcha has more caffeine than your average cup of coffee. But the other thing about matcha is that it, in addition to the caffeine, it has L-theanine. It's full of antioxidants, which is why it gets marketed a lot for its health benefits. But there's not a lot of science telling us about the health benefits of the matcha. However, I will say I do seem to feel pretty good after having it. All right, so I have whisked my matcha. And you can see I actually built it up to a little bit of froth right in the little slurry there. But that is all mixed in now. And my almond milk is heated up and is at nice full frothing sort of temperature. We're going to do two things here. I'm going to pour it in to make my latte. I'm not a fancy pourer, so I can't do like latte art. In fact, I can't even seem to pour it into the glass appropriately. I'll make circles like they say, but I don't have no design or anything like that. That's not my talent. My talent is make a mess on the counter. And I have one little addition that is also something that helps with the overall flavoring. And that is a little bit of vanilla. Just not even a half a teaspoon. That's what I've got here. But I'm not filling it the whole way. I'm going to throw that in. You could use a vanilla powder if that's something that you prefer. But I like the just regular plain old vanilla extract. Where's my stir stick? Well, that's why we have a fancy little spoon. I'm going to go ahead and mix that vanilla in. The vanilla ties into the matcha and mellows out that grassy dirt flavor. The other thing you could do is add sweetener of your choice. I would go with a liquid sweetener, like a nice little, like a monk fruit extract. Or if you like the liquid sucralose would be really nice to sweeten it up. Now I want you to know that this electric frother does a great job. I have this, look at this foam. So it's got a nice head of foam on it. It's everything you want from a latte. I have to take a little sip before I add my espresso because I overfilled it. Oh, that's nice. All right, and then we just add in our espresso and spill that on the counter too. Give it another mix. I filled my cup all the way, guys. And there we go, the dirty matcha. Look how early we are in the stream and we actually have our beverage for a change. Don't look. Let me see if I can't clean up just a little bit here with my towel. Put my stuff away. Well, so much for my freshly laundered tablecloth. But I'm sure no one's surprised every week, right? All right, so let me see what we've got here in the comments. But, oh, and I'll show this to you up close so you can see, like I said, and now it's super brown because of the espresso. But it was never going to be that bright green that you see in shops. Let's see. Oh, and the warden says they have a whole matcha set with the whisk, but they've only done it with hot water. Yep, that's the standard way for matcha. That's your regular matcha. This is a matcha latte, a dirty matcha latte. Oh, let's see. And Hungry He says they've also ordered a side salad with blue cheese and Brussels sprouts smothered in Cajun topping, shrimp, crawfish, lemon butter, and green onions. Man, that sounds like a whole meal on its own. Delicious. Let's see. And Jen says they got some pork belly and Brussels sprouts yesterday, so they can finally try their favorite side dish. Man, can I tell you, the pork belly and the Brussels sprouts, that is 1,000% a win. It is so good. Oh, and Lisa is asking about the frothed almond milk. It's the magic of this Nespresso frother. It's electric, and it has, well, I have a towel. Inside, it has this little magnetic whisk, and it spins around in there, and it basically, I have had very little that doesn't froth up in this thing. So it's fantastic, and I do recommend it. Although, holy cow, I spilled a whole bunch just now. Give me a second, guys. Well, I hope I don't need a towel anymore because I just spilled a bunch of milk throwing that around. Whoops. This has been my day all day. What would a live stream be without a little extra chaos, especially from this channel? Oh, hey, Strong has joined us. Good to see you tonight. But yeah, the magic of all the foam is actually, it's the unsweetened silk almond milk. I find it froths up better than just about anything else. If you want to froth heavy cream, you need to half it with water and make it a much thinner consistency, or it just gets bogs down and becomes, it's too greasy and heavy, and it's basically warm whipped cream. It's not good. So you want to half and half it with the water. You can also froth half and half. That froths up really nicely if you indulge in half and half. So, but yeah, the trick to the almond milk is definitely these electric frothers. They're a little pricey, but worth it 1,000%. So, I said that now I was going to share my recipe with you. So I want you to know that this is like a crazy pants recipe. This is a fusion recipe of a Maitreya creation. It's part poke bowl, it's part ceviche, it's part bibimbap with a little keto-fied version to it. So, I don't know. I've just mixed it all together and it comes out really tasty. So, oh, and Cool Kid Keto says their videos have a special kind of chaos too, the four-legged kind. Yeah, Dyson already did his howling as he realized that I was gone, so we're good with that part too. So, what I'm making here, I've got tuna. It's a yellowfin tuna, which is why it's brown. Ahi tuna would be nicer, but I live in Ohio. We're landlocked, so seafood is what you can get. And in order to get a good sushi grade tuna that you can eat raw or only very lightly cooked, you do what you can. Pretty much the restaurants snap up any ahi tuna within seconds that's in the area. So yellowfin it is, but I love yellowfin tuna. It's nice and fatty, and it just has this great unctuous note to it. So I'm not unhappy about it. I didn't want you to think my tuna was bad because it's brown. It's just, that's the way yellowfin tuna looks. And what we're going to do is I'm going to prepare this with a vinaigrette, because the lime juice will basically cook the tuna, and also give it all the seasoning that's going to go into the dish. What I have here, this brown stuff, is cauli rice that I cooked dry. Then I put in the saute pan with a little bit of coconut aminos, a little pinch of chives, and a little pinch of sesame seeds. And then I just set it aside. That's the base of the dish. And so now let's make the vinaigrette, then I'll talk about the rest of the toppings. I'm going to go ahead and put in avocado oil. I'm probably making too much vinaigrette, but I don't care. It's just easier for me to do it in a larger than try and whittle it down. But avocado oil. If you are okay with seed oil, you can use sesame oil, and that will really punch up the flavor and be delicious. But I ate some sesame oil whenever it was the last time on the live stream, whatever dish it was where I added the sesame oil, and I just wasn't feeling it today, so avocado oil it is. I'm not really all that fussed about sesame oil. I just don't worry about it because I eat such little quantities, but today I just felt the avocado oil. There's a lot of flavors, so that's where I left it at. Well, I didn't bring my spatula. That's all right. We'll use a spoon. The next thing I have is some sesame seeds, both black and white. They have been toasted. Toasting is really important for sesame seeds. in cooked dishes, or in this case, raw preparation dishes. Let's see. Oh, and Jen says this is actually reminding them that drinking coffee will keep them up all night, so they should not make coffee right now. Correct. If you need a good night's sleep and coffee is a sleep disruptor for you, don't have coffee at night. I am very fortunate that the caffeine does not keep me up. Man, that is so good. Dirty matchas are amazing, and that little touch of vanilla to it really bumps it up a notch. I cannot tell you how it really just bangs up the flavor. Which, by the way, is why I'm making this fusion dish, because the matcha and even the dirty matcha latte plays off well with seafood. So I'm also going to add my lemon juice. I keep saying lemon. It's lime. From Mexico, lemons and limes are the same thing, so sometimes I forget. So it's lime, the little green ones. It's the juice from 2 full limes. I should have brought down the whole little insert for this juicer that I got. It's awesome. It's this little cup. And then the reamer has 2 sides, one for lime, one for lemon, and it just sits right down in there. It's my favorite juicer. It's much better than the ones with the big bowl. And I like it better than the one that's just a handle, because that gets everywhere. So that's your lemon juice. Then the next thing I have is my ginger and garlic paste. You guys got to be familiar with that by now. I always use it. I love pasted ginger and pasted garlic. So just throwing that in there. And it's like I said, it's to taste. If you want a little more, have a little more. If you don't want more, don't add more. And the last ingredient here for my marinade is chili garlic sauce. Now, I do buy this brand. I don't know what the brand is. It's by Hui Fong Foods. But I buy this brand because it doesn't have any starch. And you got to be careful when you're buying some of these pastes, because a lot of them do have rice starches mixed in. That's why one of the recipes I want to make for you guys is a homemade sriracha, or at least a chili sauce. I haven't had time to do it lately, and also the peppers that I want to use for it have not been readily available in my area, so it's kind of just been on hold, and I've ran out. But like you, I love sriracha, but commercial sriracha, it has ingredients in it that are not ketogenic friendly, and if you like to use a heartier amount, it makes enough of a difference for me that I want to I like my own fermented chili. Anyways, this one, it's not hot. It's amazing. So I do recommend it if you don't mind. And if you are a carnivore, obviously this recipe is not for you. If you are doing BBBE, this recipe is definitely not for you. If you are anti-vegetable, this recipe is not for you. I am none of those things. I am old school maintenance keto. So I'm having it. Oh, I actually forgot like important ingredients. Fish sauce. I think you guys know that I love fish sauce in like everything. No, I'm not measuring nothing. You'll figure it out again to taste, but just a sploosh. It's the Red Boat brand. And when you buy fish sauce, you also have to watch out for additional things. But this brand is anchovy, sea salt, and it's gluten-free. It does remind you that anchovies are fish, so it contains fish. But anchovies are delightful. They're just little salt bombs, which, you know, hey, also great for keto. And, of course, our coconut aminos. There we go. And that'll add, you know, a pretty hearty amount. All right, I can't deal with the little teeny hole of these things that they put in these. There we go. I would say probably a good 2 tablespoons of the coconut aminos that I just tossed in there. and give it a good whisk. And you'll note that I didn't add salt or pepper or anything like that because it's got the garlic and chili, and then the coconut aminos have salt, and you know, fish sauce is very salty. That's adding our salt, so we don't need to add more salt to it. It would become an unedible salt bomb if you added more to it, and you really want that sesame seeds to come through. And I'm just giving it a good whisk to emulsify. And Lisa agrees with me, red boat is the best. I love the red boat. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, and Strong's, let's see. Oh, okay. No, just agreement. Okay. I look like a Funko Pop. I'm not sad about that. I'm a nerd, so whatever. It's not polite to make fun of people's looks, but that's all I'll say about that. So we set that aside. And now I am going to cut up my tuna. And we're going to cut it into very small dices. And you do want it to be very small because you want the acid to be able to give it a little bit of a cook. Let me get that going here. Doesn't take much, but you know, tuna is fairly firm. And when I say little dices, there you go. You can see they're pretty small. So I see that people are starting to arrive home from the cruise. I know Shauna is probably still waiting for the plane or on the plane, but she's posted some pictures and it looks so awesome. I know Rhonda was waiting for a flight that should be taking off any minute now, 7 o'clock one. So we'll see some of our friends soon. And this is it for the tuna. We give it a couple minutes in this marinade. And while we do that, we can layer some of our other foods. This is a heavy vegetable sort of dish. Let's see here. Oh, and Strong is saying that the pup, oh, they were asking if the pups were happy to see them. Oh, thanks, Warden. All right, so what I've got here is, now I've got my vegetables. One of the things about dishes like this is the layering and the aesthetic appeal. I mean, but the flavor is much more important, but this is a very important thing. And I've got really nice flavors that will all blend together and complement. I've got some thinly cut yellow and red bell pepper. I've got like maybe one whole section of a bell pepper total, but because I cut it really thin, it kind of bulks it up. So, and I would get up to bring stuff closer to the camera, but my sternum hurts, guys. I'm not moving. So you're gonna do that. The next thing I have is I have half a radish that I cut up into little small triangles. Oh, you can't even see it on the camera. Sorry, guys. But I cut it into, it was a kind of a fat radish, so I cut it into little triangles. We'll stick that here in a corner. And then the next thing I did was I cut up 3 green beans. I know, living life on the edge, 3 whole green beans. Grab them all. And I just cut them into bite size. None of this stuff is cooked. They're just they're just raw. You want that crispy, crunchy sweetness. And as you've noticed, that's part of like the flavor profile here. Crunchy, sweet, or bitey from the radish. that's going to blend in with this marinated tuna that we've got. And the last thing I got is this is a mini English cucumber, and I've cut them into little circles, wafer thin. And I'm just going to stick that right here. And that is the bulk of these vegetables. And once we get the tuna out of here, which we will in just a minute, it's looking nice. And you'll see the acid's going to react with it, and you'll see it darken and firm up just a little bit. The acid, when it hits the fish, sort of makes it seize up and get a little bit of a, tough is the wrong word, because it's not tough, but firmer. It becomes more firm. And then you always want to add like a little fat. So I brought, the avocados at the grocery were disgusting looking. So I would prefer to have diced up an avocado to mix into this, but I couldn't do that. So I have one of my little individual servings of the avocado mash, and that's just going to have to do for today. You can also use a mayo, mix in some a chipotle into your mayo, and that will be lovely. You could put the spicy mayo on there, but I find that because I've got so many flavors going on that I really just wasn't in the mood for it. So go ahead and get my little fork here. And scoop out the tuna. And put this right in there. This is probably like the most gentle live stream we have had in a long time. It's chaotic, but not nearly as chaotic as we sometimes are. So, just capturing my little bits. I probably should have brought a slotted spoon, but what's the fun in that? This also lets us scoop out a little more of the seeds that get stuck in the tines. Ooh. All right. And there we go. That is the dish of the evening. I don't know who Natalie Merchant is, although Cook Keto says I give very Natalie Merchant vibes. So now I'm going to have to Google that later. And then Jen is asking if it's kind of like a poke bowl. And I'm like, it kind of, like I said, it's kind of a fusion, because with the poke bowls, a lot of times they'll sear the tuna. And today I didn't sear it. I just did kind of more of a ceviche sort of treatment of it, but with Asian flavors instead of your standard ceviche. Ceviche, however you would like to say it. But no, that's too much avocado. So, but yeah, so it's sort of like a poke bowl, kind of like a bibimbap, or you know, any number of dishes like that. But yeah, that's exactly the fusion-ish sort of dish we're going for. Fantastic. So, and that's all there really is to it. Super simple, but really bright and flavorful, perfect for the summer season. And like I said, I know not everybody eats vegetables and stuff, and some people are way more strict than I am, but it is what it is. Oh, from 10,000 Maniacs. Okay. Now it came back to me. Oh, I knew that. I guess I did know it, but I guess it just disappeared away from my brain for a bit. Thanks for the reminder there. Yeah, and Sharon says that this would make for a nice summer evening meal when you don't want anything hot. And exactly, that is it's exactly the season for it. It's perfect. So I have another bite here with the tuna and the avocado and get like a piece of the radish. Mm. So, about matcha. Since that's the drink of the evening, we'd have our nerd moment. So, you should know that matcha, even though green tea was around in like the 8th century, matcha, the powdered version, didn't really come around in popularity until the 12th century. And late in the 12th century is when a Buddhist monk, I don't know how to say his name, Myoen Isai, discovered matcha himself, and he brought the matcha to Japan. His opinion about the green tea matcha was that drinking it helped him with his meditation. He felt that he was more awake, but also at the same time more calm. And this really caught on in popularity. It really carried through. It became very embraced in Buddhism, and they began offering it in in their religious services. They are offerings to God. It was really became very revered. So I always thought that was pretty cool, the way beverage and the drinking of the beverages evolves over time. And after it also spread from not just a Buddhist out into the rest of Japanese culture and became really ingrained. So much so that, and I know you've seen it in movies and stuff, but really it's become part of their tea culture. And it's even part of a Japanese tea ceremony called chado. So I think that's pretty cool. If you want to read a book about tea and some of the cultural aspects and the art surrounding tea, there's a book called The Book of Tea by Okakura Kikuzo, and that'll be a good read. I will tell you though, he also does talk a lot about the Western representations, and so it's a bit of a protesty there, which is not a bad thing to read about. But I don't want you caught unawares thinking I'm sending you to a nice book about teas and suddenly you're getting into politics. So that's in there. It's great, but it's a really good book about the tea. And Reichman says my dish looks good. Thanks. Now, these little bitty cucumbers, the mini ones, I'm in love with them. I thought gherkins were my favorite because they pickled so nicely. But these little English jobs, man, they are so good. They're just a little bit of the tart to them, but really they're almost sweet like candy. Either that or my electrolytes are really off and everything is tasting like candy right now. But they're extra delicious today. So earlier, when I mentioned that the matcha, the Buddhist who discovered the matcha, that he felt that it helped his meditation, that he felt both calm yet more alert. Cool Kid Keto saying that their Fitbit's telling them what to do, that they're already at 15,000 steps, but it's telling you to move. Oh, I hate when that happens. Like yesterday after our bike ride, after I climbed that stupid hill, and then we rode and we got home, then my watch was like, you're being lazy. get a move on. It's like, no, I'm done. Oh, and then Jen says that is asking if I've ever heard of the channel French Whisperer, which no, I have not, but now I'm going to look it up. She says that he's got a few videos about the history of tea that are pretty good. Oh, it's an asthma channel, but they listen while working sometimes. Okay, that's cool. I might have to look some of that up. That does sound interesting. So, oh, okay, but back to feeling calm and yet alert. There are reasons for that. First of all, we already talked about the fact that green tea is highly caffeinated, more so than most coffees. So there's that. Oh, hey, Phyllis. Nice to see you. So, but also, green tea has a lot of antioxidants in it. And it also has, so the caffeine is what's making him feel alert, but it also has L-theanine. L-theanine is often sold over the counter as a supplement as a relaxant, but it's actually a neurochemical that stimulates, which sounds weird, but it's what points your brain towards relaxation. So that's how people are coming about to saying that they feel more awake, but also more focused and also less high strung. So if you're sensitive to caffeine, yes, the high caffeination can give you the jitters, but from a mental aspect, that L-theanine is probably what's giving you that more intense sort of focus feel. And that's why the Buddhist monks felt that it was helping with their meditation. So now I mentioned earlier about the, where's my little container? The quality of your matcha. So when you are shopping for matcha, I want you to make sure that you are buying a matcha that adheres to GMP practices. So that's a good manufacturing practices. It's not always on the label, but most companies will mention this on their websites or somewhere down in the little bits of researchy of your ingredients, which if you follow a ketogenic lifestyle, you're used to deep diving, so you will find it. Alternatively, if it doesn't say that specifically, you want to make sure you're getting the matcha that's processed in a facility that's been vetted and is basically certified and has the sanitation and handling guidelines certification. And then you also want to make sure that they're not adding fillers like soy or magnesium stearate. Neither of those items are things that you need in your matcha. I would tell you that you probably don't need soy ever, but that's my opinion. And while it's a popular opinion, and while I feel that there's a lot of studies that support that soy is rather inflammatory, I'm not the food police, but soy is not needed in matcha powder. If it has food coloring, that's also not needed in matcha powder. That is strictly for the appeal of the look in the glass, to give it that bright, shiny green look so that it's the color of the logos and such on my shirt. So, no, I didn't have like a whole lot tonight. Oh, and Phyllis says they didn't realize that Cool Kid Keto also had a channel, so they discovered it and watched a few of the videos. I love Cool Kid Keto's channel. It's a lot of fun for me. So, all right. So I think that we should be back in full bore attendance next week because everybody will be back from vacations. And we've got a pretty cool topic next week, so I'm looking forward to that. And I will have an awesome recipe for you guys. But otherwise, I know it's short, but that's all I've got for tonight. Do you guys have any matcha questions or any more questions about the equipment or about the dish we made? Because it's a pretty quiet evening, and I'm just, like I said, I'm sorry, guys. My sternum is like killing me. I need to finish my dinner and then have a bit of a lay down. It's like like something is sitting on my chest, which sounds like a scary thing, but I know it's from the injury because you can, ow, just like touching it hurt, but you can see like the bruising and stuff right there. It's definitely injury, not heart issues. So. All right. All right, if that's it, I'm going to say goodnight, everybody. And I will talk to you. And I do have a video ready for tomorrow, so it's good. Oh, I will tell you, in some of our groups, if you are experiencing any slowness or anything like that in getting your post approved, I don't mean Too Crazy Ketos. I'm not a moderator on there, but in some of the others, have some patience because I did make that ranty video. But just so you know, yeah, they've been out in force. Like, I think that today, while I was sitting, I deleted about 75 of those spam messages. And you guys, I want to know why these keto custom people are invading my crochet groups. Like, come on. I guarantee you, most of these ladies do not want to buy your keto diet. We never talk about diets in there, so it's crazy. And they're getting sneaky too because they're starting to jump in there and they'll make a regular comment so that you don't notice it, and then they come back and edit it. No. I will catch it. So, if I think we're also experiencing the same thing in our keto groups, in fact, even dialed up. So, by all means, just to be patient with us on moderators. I don't know how the Too Crazy Keto group is, but I can't imagine that it's exempt from it, although they have a Cracker Jack team, so yeah. All right. Good night, everyone. You have a good one. Oh, Cool Kid Keto, I don't know, but I don't generally take baths unless I really absolutely have to. So we'll see. Oh, Strong, I fell, and I just, I don't know, somehow I scraped my knee and my arm, but really at the same time managed to bang my sternum. So crazy things. All right, have a good one. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.